hey, let me ask you something. Does the thought of your own birthday fill you with this sense of, I don't know, pressure? If it does, you're definitely not alone. Today, we're going to do a deep dive into the fascinating psychology behind why so many of us actually prefer to treat our birthday as just another day. And trust me, it's about a lot more than just being modest. It's about how our minds are actually wired to protect us. So, does that question hit home for you? Maybe you kind of cringe when the party planning starts or the birthday week countdowns begin. If that's you, then you are in very good company. It's not strange at all. This feeling is incredibly common and it's rooted in some really interesting psychology. So, where does this all come from? Well, it often kicks off with what we can call invisible pressure. It's that unspoken rule, the expectation from basically everyone, friends, family, social media, that you must be super excited, you have to celebrate, and you better be performing happiness on demand. In this, right here, this is the heart of the whole conflict. On one side, you've got the world basically demanding a performance. We're talking parties, posts, a big show of joy. But then on the other side is what a lot of us are actually craving. Just some peace, some quiet, a totally normal day without a spotlight. Okay, so let's get into the why. The first big psychological reason is all about where we get our sense of value. For many of us, it isn't about getting claps from an audience. It's about having this deep, solid sense of worth that just comes from inside. When you boil it all down, it's simple. When your self-worth is solid, you just don't need a bunch of external proof that you matter. Your value isn't measured by how many notifications you get on your phone. You already know your worth. Psychology has a really powerful term for this. It's called an internal locus of control. It sounds a little academic, but all it really means is that you have this core belief that you are the one steering your own ship. Your strength, your happiness, it all comes from within you, not from other people's approval. This quote just nails it perfectly. Their sense of identity remains stable, whether it's a regular morning or their special day. When you have that kind of stability, a date on the calendar doesn't suddenly change who you are. Your existence doesn't need a public announcement to feel real or meaningful. But okay, it's not always just about self-worth. Sometimes treating a birthday like a normal day is actually a really powerful form of self-protection. Think of it like an emotional shield that we build for very, very good reasons. Just think about it for a second. A birthday brings this huge, sudden tidal wave of attention that usually disappears just as fast the next day. For a lot of people, especially if you're more introverted or have a bit of social anxiety, that spike doesn't feel like joy. It feels kind of artificial and honestly, pretty overwhelming. So keeping the day low-key is just a smart way to manage that emotional flood. And this shield isn't something you're just born with. It's a learned response. You can see how it works here. Maybe some past birthdays led to disappointment, or they were just overlooked. Well, your brain is smart. It adapted. It learned to lower expectations to protect you from getting let down again. And what starts out as just a defense can actually grow into a real strength, the ability to put your own emotional balance first. This brings us to a third, super powerful reason, our fundamental need for autonomy. At our core, every single one of us has this drive for personal freedom and a totally natural resistance to being told how we're supposed to feel or what we're supposed to do. And here's where you can really see that tension. On one side, you've got social expectations handing you a script, perform happiness, be grateful, reply to every single text. But on the other side, personal freedom is screaming, no way. This is my time, this is my energy, and I am the one in control of my emotions today. And there's a name for this feeling too. It's called psychological reactance. It's that instant, gut-level urge to just push back the second you feel like your freedom is being limited, even by something well-meaning like, come on, you have to celebrate. So this leads us to a really crucial question we all have to ask ourselves. Is keeping a low profile on your birthday a form of avoidance that's rooted in fear? Or is it something else entirely? A genuine, healthy need for privacy and some quiet time to reflect? And man, understanding this difference is so important. Avoidance usually comes from a place of fear of being judged or scared of being let down. But a need for privacy, that comes from a place of strength. It's not about running from other people. It's about turning toward yourself for some quiet connection without all the noise of a public performance. When you put it all together, all these different reasons point to one powerful idea: the importance of listening to yourself and actually honoring what you genuinely need on any day, but especially on your birthday. So let's just be crystal clear about this. If you prefer a quiet birthday, it doesn't mean you're unfun or difficult. Not at all.
It means you are actively and very intelligently protecting your peace. You're choosing your own internal well being over an external performance, and that should be celebrated as a real sign of strength.
So, what does a quiet birthday truly say about you? Well, it says you value what you think of yourself more than what others think. It shows you're a pro at keeping your emotional balance. It signals a powerful need for personal freedom, a preference for deep reflection, and a focus on the quality of the connection you have with yourself. These aren't flaws, these are absolute strengths. And so, I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. In a world that is constantly screaming at you about how to feel and what to celebrate, maybe take a quiet moment to ask yourself, where does my real, unshakable value truly come from? Thanks for hanging out with me today.